Breast cancer vlog, day 12. Well, I got to meet the surgeon today, and it turns out it's the same surgeon who did my emergency gallbladder removal 3 months ago. And I'm really happy about it because she did a fantastic job. And so I feel really, really good about the surgeon and her plan. So we went through the pros and cons of various treatments, and my preference and interest really was going with a mastectomy, and she agreed with that because if they had tried to do the lumpectomy, they would have had to remove a lot more tissue. It would not have been a true lumpectomy. It would have been a partial mastectomy. And ultimately, when you've got multiple spots, I've got 2 spots that are 4 centimeters apart, you just don't know if there's more in other parts of the breast. And so I feel like the best way to minimize risk for me is to do the full mastectomy. And I'm going to do a double mastectomy because if it happens in one breast, what are the odds that it can happen in the other breast? This is an estrogen-driven cancer, estrogen positive, progesterone negative. One of my really interesting questions was, okay, since I had this happen to my uterus and I had to have that hysterectomy 7-8 years ago, what were the odds that I could also have precancer or cancer in my breast? And back then they said, the odds are low. You could even start oral estrogen again. I actually had an OBGYN tell me you could start oral estrogen again. But my question was, yeah, but what are the odds that somebody who's had uterine cancer or atypical cells leading to uterine cancer, what are the odds that they could also have breast cancer? And they agreed. I mean, they admitted that yes, there are some people who get both. Well, I happen to be in that some group. So I like my decision, but it's getting real. It's getting a little scary. It's making me think about planning for the surgery. Definitely going to need help. Going to be on pain meds for at least 10 days, most likely. Won't be able to drive. And so I've really got to take some time now to kind of create a nest for myself and work with my sister and my brother-in-law who are going to be here with me to make this as good as possible. Obviously, the sooner you can be up and walking, the better. And I was up and walking the next day after my gallbladder surgery, and that's my intention with this surgery too, to be up and moving as quickly as I can, even if it's just walking back and forth in my house or walking in front of my house. I know that movement is important because movement helps blood flow, helps improve oxygenation, all those things which are really important to healing. So I got my pre-surgery kit. The scheduler is supposed to call later this week, early next week, with some dates. So we're going to pick a date. I'm just going to try to do as quickly as possible. I don't want to wait. Let's just be done with it. This was not on my agenda for 2024. I don't feel like I've been given a year of my own yet. Because in the past, all those years were dedicated to caring for my parents. Last year, at this time, was really all about grief. And now this summer was supposed to be my first summer of fun. And now it's going to be my first summer of breast cancer and surgery. But, you know, I have faith, and I know that words lift. I get great comfort listening to Joel Osteen. I do. I know not everybody likes him. I do. Just makes me feel good. So I did learn that I'm going to have stitches all the way across my breast. I also learned something really, really interesting, that apparently I have very wide breasts. Thank you, Grandma Betty. So we anticipate 8 inches and 8 inches, so 16, 17 inches of incision across my breast. Lots of stitches on the inside, but she's gonna glue it closed. I'm gonna have drains for a week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks until it stops oozing. And then life's gonna hopefully go back to normal, and hopefully, you know, when late summer hits, we're gonna have some nice, wonderful days, and we can be peaceful again without a lot of stress, knowing that I think I've made the right decision that reduces the greatest amount of risk for me. So anyway, that's my story. As always, I welcome any advice, comments, suggestions, especially from people who've been through this before. Love to learn from you. Otherwise, that's it. I will see you tomorrow.